Hi everyone, my name is attorney Minhas, and I practice U.S. immigration law. Today's topic is going to be about Form N-336, which is a request for a hearing on a decision in naturalization proceedings. But it's going to be a little different. Today, I'm going to be answering your questions about that form, about the process. But before I do that, I do want to mention that I do have a video uploaded not too long ago focusing on Form N-336, what is it, when you should file it, and whether you should file it at all. To make things easier, I put the link in the description. Please go check that out. Let's just jump right into the topic and cover your questions. The first question I received was, what happens when my N-336 application is approved? Well, you get scheduled for an interview, and when you get scheduled for that interview, you'll get an opportunity to plead your case before the officer. Now, it may not be the same officer that you had when you had your N-400 interview. And another thing I do want to mention is that when you do get an opportunity to sit in front of an officer once your N-336 application is approved, make sure to take the evidence with you, because now you're getting another shot at really explaining where USCIS messed up or where they created an error which led to the denial on your case. And it will be a review by USCIS on your application as if it were never denied. So please make sure that you understand that it's going to be an opportunity for you to now plead your case before that officer. Okay, now let's move on to your second question. Should I file an N-336 application or just refile my N-400? That's a great question, and I guess I get asked this question all the time whenever someone's reaching out to me and they've received their N-400 denial and they're like flabbergasted, like, what's going on? How come I received this? Can I just go ahead and file the N-336? Now, you really want to ask yourself like two questions. Number one, did USCIS make a mistake? And number two, if they made that mistake, do I have the evidence to back up to show that I was right and they made an error? Because you want to make sure that you have that opportunity to now file it with your N-336. Otherwise, if you're eligible, then you can go ahead and refile the N-400. But that's a question that really gets answered once we have all the facts about what happened during the N-400 interview, what is a denial based on, and what really transpired to give you that type of advice. Okay, now moving on to the next question. Will I definitely get a decision or response from USCIS on my N-336 application that I filed in 180 days? Okay, unfortunately, the answer to this question is no. I've seen cases where responses come within, anywhere from 2 years. It's happened depending on how challenging and complex that N-336 application is and what factors are really being challenged. But I've also seen instances where the evidence surrounding the N-336 application is so strong that the officer is like, all right, 3 weeks, let's approve this, let's schedule this person to come before us to get an opportunity to plead their case. I've seen that happen as well. And sometimes they'll just straight up deny you. So it's not always, okay, I'll get a decision within 180 days. It may take longer, and I've known a lot of people who have waited that long to hear back from USCIS. Okay, let's go into the next question. Is the N-336 application hearing in front of a judge? No, it's not. So it's not a judge. Again, it's an USCIS officer, not the same one that you had to sit in front of when you did your N-400 interview, but a different officer generally will be sitting in front of you, and it's just like a similar setting as if you had your N-400 application interview. Can I file my N-336 application after the 30-day deadline is up. No, a deadline is a deadline. Make sure if you're eligible to file for the N-336, it gets filed timely. So it has to reach USCIS before the deadline. If you file it after, you're wasting your filing fees, you're looking for a straight denial. Please, please, please do not send out the application after the due date. You will not get an extension. You must file it before the deadline. Okay, next question. Is it mandatory to file the N-336? Absolutely not. As I mentioned a few questions ago, it really depends on the situation. It's not mandatory to file the N-336, but it is important that if you are eligible for the N-336, you must file it before the deadline. But it's not mandatory, and you might even qualify to just refile your N-400 application. So if you're not eligible for the N-336, it's not mandatory where you're like, even though I'm not eligible, I should still file it. Don't just go ahead and file it if you're not eligible. And again, it's not mandatory to file. Okay, now I have the final question. This one is very important, and I know it scares a lot of people because it has happened to some people, and some people get confused with the process because they're scared. Why did I get denied on my N-400 application? I can't believe it. And that leads them to this very fearful question. So Poonam, did I lose my green card in the process of filing for citizenship and it was denied? So, okay, very good question. Like I said, it's traumatizing for a lot of people. They think that if they get denied on their citizenship application, that they end up losing the green card. That's not the case, but I do want to let you know that if you ever have dealt with, or you know someone who's dealt with a complex interview where it's related to like intentional lying, or you should have never received the green card to begin with, or there's some type of fraudulent activity, something where USCIS is saying, whoa, you shouldn't even have gotten this green card to begin with. What USCIS can and may do is issue you not only a decision, but a notice to appear. And that notice to appear is an indication that your case is now going to be sent over to an immigration court, and you have to plead your case before an immigration judge. And those proceedings are called removal, aka deportation proceedings, where you have to really fight to try to save your green card. And now that matter gets really complicated. And I've seen this happen to some people who've come to me where they've seen a decision from USCIS, and then following that decision, they get a notice to appear in the courts before the immigration court. You at that time should definitely pick up the phone, speak to an experienced immigration attorney to go over all of your immigration history in the past, to see how you can fight your case in court before the immigration judge and the trial attorney, and really present your case as to what relief you may qualify for and how you could potentially save your green card. Before you go, please hit the subscribe button. Please subscribe to this channel, share with your friends and family, and hit the bell icon to stay updated on anything I post on U.S. immigration law. One last thing, friendly reminder, please only use the comment section for general matters. Do not talk about your specific cases in the comment section. If you need to speak about your case, please pick up the phone, contact us to schedule a consultation, or you may write to me on my email that's mentioned in the description. Thank you and take care.